Tell me something that you learned about mental health that significantly improved your mental health.
Physical activity beats the shit out of depression. Just 15 minutes per day cuts the risk of major depression by 26%. So, go work out.
There's no medical research that supports that chemical imbalances in the brain even exist. The DSM-5 has so many overlapping symptoms, it's basically useless. Most psychiatrists treat the symptoms rather than the illness. The psychiatric field as a whole regularly ignores socioeconomic factors as a cause for illness. The pandemic has shown that basically anyone that's not sucked into the capitalist death cult is neurodivergent. The so-called common practice of keeping patients fully informed is usually not done. The full extent of side effects are usually not gone over. A lot of them do more harm than good in the long run, and that doesn't even go over hospitalizations where you're taking whatever medication they give you. I'm not saying don't take meds. I take meds. They keep me productive within capitalism because I have to be. I'm just saying that the psychiatric field as a whole is super predatory and we definitely need to address it.
This woman did this TikTok a few weeks ago and I saw it and she said that if you can explain it in one word, it's a feeling. If it takes more than one, it's the thought. And I am not joking. Oh my god, that was so helpful. Like, my boyfriend not replying quick enough could make me have an entire BPD fluster, and I'd just be like, oh, I'm just feeling shit that he's not replying. No. What it is he's not replying, so it's made me think that he's cheating, which makes me upset. But that's just a thought, and the thought's not real, so that I'm not actually upset.
Understanding that it's okay to have bad days and being kind to myself when I'm not feeling so great, and also that the healing process is not a straight line. There's going to be ups and downs along the way.
Take notice of the people around you. Sometimes you're not anxious because you are anxious. You're anxious because the people around you are making you feel anxious. Surround yourself with good people. That's what I did.
This has been the single most helpful tool that I have learned, and it's this concept that you don't just give people carte blanche access to you, and they actually have to earn your trust, and that trust is not fixed. You could have people that are your best friends and they can move down on this particular boundary rating. So if anyone in your life fits within this gradient, and people that you don't know, like say for example you're starting to date, you don't know them, they sit somewhere down here in the red and they have to earn their way up based on their interactions with you. And sometimes you can have people that you think are really safe, but then they do things and you find out that you really shouldn't be opening up to them about this, or you shouldn't be giving them your time and your attention. This has really just given me so much clarity in my life, and it's given me a ton of perspective on how to kind of build relationships, maintain relationships, end relationships. It's just been all around a really helpful tool.
So about 90 to 95% of your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, and about 50% of dopamine is actually made in your gut. Pretty much, healthy gut bacteria eats amino acids and sends neurotransmitters to your brain that make these hormones. That is why your gut is now called your second brain. Also, women with hormonal imbalances like PCOS have a much higher rate of anxiety, depression, and mental health issues. So if you're able to get your gut health, your nutrition, and your hormones in check, you can significantly improve your mental health. Like I did. Bye!
So a therapist explained to me that we have a finite amount of emotional energy every day, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. So she had this imagery of a bank and you have fuck bucks. So you only have, let's say, 100 fuck bucks in your account per day, and you can't roll them over to the next day. So the point is, choose wisely on what you give a fuck about. And this has helped me so much in life.
This is actually in response to Britta Grace's video. I can't stitch it, I wish I could. But when I went to therapy, the first thing my therapist asked was, are you on birth control? Made me get off of it as soon as possible. She said it is a depressant. It will literally depress you. And depression and anxiety use the same neural pathways. So if you see a spike in depression, a spike in anxiety, and you're on birth control, that is literally why.
Okay, my biochemistry professor explained why we overeat carbs and lipids in an evolutionary way, and I thought this was really interesting, and I thought I needed to share to all these ladies out here, including myself. This has actually helped me a lot to mentally control my binge eating habits. So here we go. Okay, so back before refrigeration, food processing, preservatives, back before all that shit, when we were more in like the hunter and gathering walks of life, we didn't really know when we were going to be able to eat next. So when we came across carbs and lipids, which are the main sources of energy for humans and animals in general, our brains lit up a fucking light and was like, bitch, eat all that shit. Eat it all, because you don't know when you're going to eat next. So like nowadays, we still think that. Our brains don't know that we have enough food.
A lot of popular mental health accounts on social media are actually causing people to ruminate on their traumas and really hard things in an unsafe, uncontained way where it actually affects our mental health in negative ways. I got so caught up in looking at all of this mental health content that I was constantly self-analyzing myself, and that was actually really harmful to me. It wasn't until I made the decision to look inward and grow in specific small ways over time and not worry about all this stuff at every hour of the day that it actually helped me have better mental health. And that goes for me. If you're consuming my content every day and you realize your mental health's not, you don't need to watch my stuff every day. Check in when you need. It's okay if you don't watch all the mental health stuff.
Emotional trauma can cause a lot of physical problems, especially gut and digestive issues. But you can heal, and the healing journey might not be linear, but when you learn to love yourself, you're going to attract more love in your life.
So this took a few years to actually piece all together, but ultimately, self-worth comes from within. And when I grew up, it was totally opposite. I had so much self-worth placed on me by the grades I was getting, the school I was going to, the job that I had. All of that was what I thought made me happy. And when I finally got that good school, I finally got into one of the top 30 schools in the US. I graduated from there and I got this good, comfy job as a marketing director. And I even lived at a luxury condo in La Jolla. And all of that didn't make me happy. What actually finally made me happy was that when I quit all of that and started surfing and started challenging myself and started living outside of that bubble of my life, I found happiness within myself and felt the most fulfilled that I've ever felt.
That the most common traumas in women and children occur at the hands of their partners or their parents. These traumas are inflicted by people who are supposed to love us. If people you'd normally turn to for protection reject you or hurt you, you learn to shut down and to completely ignore what you actually feel.
If you've been diagnosed with a mental disorder, go and get a brain scan. If you break your leg, they do an x-ray to make sure they're fixing the leg right. So why in the flip are we just diagnosing things in our brain and not actually making sure what we're doing is gonna actually help the person? I was diagnosed with ADHD. Makes sense. I'm a space cadet. Always thought there was something a little kooky going on up there. But I was like, let's go actually make sure this is what I have. Went to get a brain scan. I don't have ADHD. I have PTSD, which is mimicking ADHD because it's overriding my executive function. But the kicker is that if I had gone on the stimulant medication that they told me to do with the ADHD, it would have ruined my life. It would have given me anxiety, depression, all of these other problems that probably would have, again, just been dealt with by pharmaceuticals. But by doing the brain scan, I'm able to actually get to the root of the problem and fix what's going on. So please, get a brain.
Here we go. So I went on birth control in high school, as most young girls do, without knowing the side effects. All the things happened. Got depressed, got super anxious, really dark thoughts, and I was on the pill for 8.5, 9 years. Recently, as a 23-year-old, I've been like, maybe I care about what's actually being put in my body, actually taking care of myself. Did some research, found some influencers who were going off the pill and seeing these amazing, amazing improvements to their mental health. So, went to my guy and I was like, hey, I want to go off birth control. I don't like the hormone aspect, blah, 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 blah. He goes, sure, hon, whatever you want. I said, really? Is that easy? Long story short, I've been off birth control for about a month. My anxiety's completely gone and I've never been happier. No more mood swings, no more dark thoughts. I'm so calm and at peace and happy that I'm almost anxious because of it. Definitely do your own research and talk to your doctor. Something to look into.